Welcome back to the deep dive. I am incredibly glad you decided to join us today because we are getting into something that I suspect every single professional listening to this can relate to on a deeply visceral level.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever ended a long, grueling Friday, looked back at your week, and realized you spent more time managing repetitive, mindless tasks than you did actually doing the creative, impactful parts of your job?
Yeah.
The parts you were actually hired to do, the strategy, the relationship building, the problem solving.
It is the defining dilemma of the modern professional landscape. I mean, we are surrounded by more powerful technology than any generation in human history.
Right.
Yet we somehow still end up feeling like glorified data entry clerks half the time. We are constantly feeding the machine instead of letting the machine work for us.
That is the exact pain point we are unpacking today. We are looking at the hidden power of B2B automation. That's business to business, by the way. And smart email marketing.
You have a really fascinating stack of sources to pull from today.
We do. We are diving into the professional portfolio and technical case studies of Miguel Ferreira. He is a digital marketing and web engineering specialist based in Portugal, running the platform mfmd.pt.
His work is incredibly revealing. He operates in this unique intersection. He bridges two worlds that usually operate in complete silos.
The deep, complex world of back-end coding and the high-level, big-picture world of business strategy.
Exactly. Usually the IT department and the sales department barely speak the same language.
Barely even occupy the same building sometimes. And bridging those worlds is our mission for this deep dive. We are going to explore how automating these invisible, highly technical workflows doesn't actually remove the human element from business.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, it might be the only thing that saves it. We're looking at how taking the robot out of the human gives companies the time they desperately need to truly nurture client relationships.
That's a great way to put it, taking the robot out of the human.
Right. And to help connect all these dots, I'm joined by our resident expert. So let's start in what I've been calling the engine room.
Okay, let's unpack this.
The source material features a prominent case study detailing Miguel Ferreira's 3.5-year tenure as a sales technology specialist at MAQSER. Set the stage for us. What kind of company are we talking about here?
MAQSER is a leading Portuguese B2B company that deals in industrial machinery.
So heavy equipment.
We are talking about really heavy equipment. In the B2B industrial sector, the product catalogs are massive. We are not talking about a boutique shop with 20 items where you can just manually type in a description and upload a nice photo.
Sure.
We are talking about thousands upon thousands of highly specific technical products, each one with dozens of variants, complex specification sheets, voltage requirements, freight weights, you name it.
Which brings us to the massive bottleneck of manual work in B2B e-commerce.
It's a huge issue.
Before we get into the solution, walk me through what this actually looks like for a typical company doing things the old way. Let's say a new line of 50 industrial generators arrives at the warehouse. What happens next if you don't have automation?
It's a logistical nightmare.
Wow.
First, someone have to manually type the product details, the specs, and the pricing into the company's internal inventory system.
Right.
Then another person, or maybe that same exhausted person, has to log into the company's e-commerce website and manually create 50 new product pages.
Oh, wow.
They have to upload the images one by one, copy and paste the descriptions, check the formatting, ensure the pricing matches the internal system.
That sounds awful.
And it doesn't stop there. Then they have to update the digital catalogs across multiple different third-party platforms. It is a massive, soul-crushing drain on human resources.
It sounds like the exact opposite of what a skilled sales team should be doing. I mean, if you're paying someone a premium salary to close deals and build relationships, having them copy and paste generator specifications for 3 days straight seems completely counterproductive.
It's completely unsustainable. If your sales team is doing data entry, they aren't selling. And that is where the specific technical strategy used at MAQSER comes into play.
Right, the integration.
The core of their digital transformation, led by Miguel, was the seamless integration and convergence of the company's internal ERP system directly with their web e-commerce platform.
Okay, let's pause right there. For those who might not be familiar with the corporate jargon, ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning.
Yes.
It's basically the internal software a company uses to manage all their day-to-day business activities. It's the central database for inventory, supply chain, accounting, all that back-end stuff.
That's spot on. Historically, the ERP and the website were two separate islands. They didn't speak to each other.
Okay.
You updated the ERP because accounting needed it, And then someone had to manually go and update the website to match because marketing needed it.
So what Miguel did was build an automated bridge between those islands.
Exactly.
I tend to think of it like a central nervous system. Before, the brain, which is the ERP, had to essentially write a letter to the hands.
Web platform.
Right, the web platform, asking it to please update the inventory whenever something's sold. With this integration, the brain automatically tells the hands what to do without any conscious manual effort. It just happens in real time.
It's a great analogy.
But I have to ask, is it really as simple as just plugging a wire from the ERP into the website?
Not at all. And that's where the technical heavy lifting comes in. The source notes that Miguel didn't just plug in an off-the-shelf solution and call it a day. He developed custom Python scripts for task automation.
Custom code.
Right.
Yeah.
Python scripts for task automation, system cleaning, and efficient data management.
Hold on. You mentioned custom Python scripts for system cleaning. For the non-developers listening, what does system cleaning actually look like in this context?
That's a great question.
Are we talking about formatting prices, fixing typos? What does the code actually do?
Because scripting sounds like magic hacker stuff, but it's really just high-speed digital janitorial work.
Digital janitorial work. I like that.
Imagine you have 70 different brands supplying MAQSer with machinery. Every brand sends their product data differently.
Sure.
Brand A uses the letters MAE for millimeters. Brand B spells out the word millimeters. Brand C uses capital letters for everything.
Oh, I see. So it's a formatting nightmare.
Exactly. If you just dump that raw data onto a website, it looks terrible. It's completely unsearchable. The Python scripts Miguel wrote act as a filter.
Okay.
They instantly read the raw data from the ERP, normalize all the formatting, fix the casing, ensure the pricing logic is correct, and then push it to the website beautifully.
So a new piece of machinery arrives, it goes into the ERP, and the Python scripts ensure it populates correctly on the e-commerce site.
Perfectly formatted.
Ready to be indexed by Google and found by buyers, all without a human touching it.
Precisely. And the results of building that central nervous system are staggering. By integrating these systems and using those scripts, MAQSer was able to scale their online presence to over 9,000 products.
9,000.
They managed 70 different brands and published 100 digital catalogs. The source states this generated over 15 million digital impressions.
15 million.
You simply cannot operate at that scale manually without hiring an absolute army of data entry staff.
Okay, so he builds this bridge between the ERP and the website. The IT department is happy, the inventory is perfectly synced, but did this actually translate to the bottom line? Or was it just a nice organizational tool that made the spreadsheets look prettier?
What's fascinating here is it translated massively. The source actually gives us the hard numbers, and they are the ultimate proof of concept.
Let's hear them.
Because Miguel optimized this system and built these scripts, his individual commercial performance as a salesperson jumped by 39.72% compared to the previous year.
Nearly 40%. That's a staggering jump for a single year.
It gets better. That individual performance contributed to a projected 12.39% global sales growth for the entire company in 2023. The company manager, Joe Vaz, even provided a testimonial specifically citing this technical work as crucial for the growth of their online sales channel.
So the machines did the heavy lifting, which allowed the humans to actually sell.
Exactly.
When a salesperson isn't panicked about whether a product image is uploaded correctly or if the stock count is accurate on the website, they can spend that time on the phone with a client.
Understanding their needs and closing the deal. The technology didn't replace the salesperson. It gave them back the hours they were losing to administrative friction.
So we've got the internal house in order, the ERP is talking to the website, the inventory is perfect, and the sales team has their time back.
Right.
But none of that matters if the client never actually sees your quote right.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder how much of this automated B2B communication is just ending up in spam folders.
Let's pivot to what the source calls the trust protocol.
This is huge.
How do you communicate securely and effectively once your internal systems are automated? Communication is where a lot of businesses, even those with incredible internal tech, completely drop the ball. And the source material emphasizes this heavily, starting with the absolute foundation of B2B trust. The email address itself.
Okay.
Sending a business proposal or an invoice from a generic at gmail.com or at hotmail.com address completely destroys brand authority.
I would imagine so. If you are selling a $100,000 industrial machine, you can't be emailing the invoice from an address like Heavy Machinery Steve88 at yahoo.com.
Definitely not.
A professional corporate email service like steve@maxer.com is the bare minimum for establishing credibility.
It signals a lack of permanence and a lack of professionalism.
Right.
It tells the buyer, we haven't even invested in our own domain name, so why should you invest $100,000 in our machinery?
Right.
But having that custom domain is just the surface layer. The real magic and the real danger lies beneath the surface in the infrastructure.
Here's where it gets really interesting, but why not just buy the domain name, hook it up to a basic third-party service, and be done with it? Why do we care about the hidden infrastructure?
Because you can have the most professional-looking domain name in the world, but if your emails are landing in your client's spam folder, you don't exist.
Right.
The portfolio dives deep into the crucial DNS authentication protocols. DNS stands for Domain Name System, and these protocols are basically the digital passports for your emails.
Okay.
There are 3 big ones mentioned in the source: SPF, DKIM, and DRC.
Okay, I have to stop you there. Break those down for us, because I know they sound like impenetrable IT alphabet soup.
They do.
But the source suggests they are the difference between closing a deal and being completely ignored.
What?
So let's take them one by one. What is SPF?
Let's use an analogy. SPF stands for Sender Policy Framework. Think of SPF as a guest list at a very exclusive club.
A guest list.
Right. It is a hidden record you put on your domain's DNS that explicitly tells the entire internet only these specific servers are authorized to send emails on behalf of my company.
Okay.
So if an email shows up at a client's inbox claiming to be from you, but it was sent from an IP address that isn't on that guest list, the receiving server immediately knows it's an imposter and blocks it.
That makes sense. So SPF is the guest list. But what if someone on the guest list gets compromised? What is DKIM doing?
DKIM stands for Domain Keys Identified Mail. If SPF is the guest list, DKIM is a tamper-proof wax seal on the actual envelope of the email.
A wax seal?
It adds a cryptographic digital signature to your message. When the receiving server gets the email, it checks that signature against a public key on your domain.
So it's verifying authenticity.
Exactly. This ensures that the contents of the message, the invoice details, the bank routing numbers, the contract terms, weren't intercepted and altered by a malicious third party while the email was in transit across the internet.
Okay, I get the wax seal idea for DKIM, but isn't setting all this up incredibly tedious?
It can be.
Why wouldn't a company just use a massive platform like MailChimp or HubSpot and let them handle the security?
Well, here's the catch. Third-party services like MailChimp or HubSpot actually require you to set this up now.
Really?
Google and Microsoft recently changed their rules. If you send bulk email through a third-party service without configuring your own SPF and DKIM records, they will automatically bounce your emails.
Wow.
You can't outsource the responsibility of your own domain's reputation anymore. Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, DMARC.
DMARC. What is the role of this one? Is it another layer of security?
DMRC is the overarching policy. It stands for Domain-Based Message Authentication, Reporting, and Conformance. Think of DRC as the bouncer at the club reading the guest list.
Okay, the bouncer.
It tells the receiving servers, like Gmail or Microsoft 365, exactly what to do if an email fails the SPF or DKIM checks.
So you give them instructions.
Right. Do you want the server to just flag it as suspicious? Do you want them to quarantine it in the spam folder? Or do you want them to reject it entirely so it never even reaches the recipient? That's powerful.
DMRC gives the domain owner total control over how strict their email security should be.
So why should you, the listener, care about this alphabet soup of protocols? Walk me through a hypothetical disaster scenario. What happens to a B2B company that ignores this?
Let's say you're a salesperson. You've spent 6 months courting a major construction firm. You've had the dinners, you've done the site visits, and you finally agree on a $2 million equipment package.
A massive deal.
You send the final contract from your company email, and you never hear back.
Ouch.
You follow up, crickets, you call them a week later, and they say they went with a competitor because you never sent the paperwork.
Oh, no.
It turns out your email went straight to their corporate spam quarantine because your IT department didn't configure the DMRC policy, and their strict corporate firewall rejected it.
You just lost a $2 million deal because of a missing line of text in your domain records.
It is a massive, invisible leak in a company's sales funnel. That is terrifying. You could be spending thousands of dollars on digital advertising to get leads, but if your follow-up email goes to spam because of bad DNS records, that marketing budget is entirely wasted.
Exactly.
The portfolio also mentions the addition of TLS and S/MIME encryption for end-to-end protection of these professional email services. Is that just more IT compliance, or is there a business angle there?
There is a huge business angle. We are living in an era of constant cyber threats. Ransomware, phishing, massive data breaches.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
When a B2B company implements rigorous data protection, like TLS encryption, it is no longer just an IT checkbox. It is the purest form of client loyalty.
Client loyalty.
You are protecting your client's sensitive commercial data from interception. Plus, it's an absolute must for compliance with privacy laws like the GDPR in Europe.
So it becomes a marketing tool.
Yes, you are implicitly telling the client, we are organized, we are professional, and your proprietary data is completely safe with us.
Security as a marketing asset. That is a fascinating way to frame it. Okay, so we've optimized the internal inventory with the ERP integrations, and we've secured the external communication lines with strict DNS protocols.
Right.
What is the next frontier for B2B automation? Where is Miguel Ferreira's work pointing toward next?
The next frontier is what the source material refers to as Web 5.0.
Oh, 5.0. That sounds incredibly lofty.
It does.
The source describes this as the symbiosis between algorithm and emotion. But I have to push back a little here. Where exactly does the emotion come in? Algorithms are just math. How do you inject emotion into web engineering?
It's a great observation. To understand Web 5.0, you have to look at the progression.
Okay.
Web 1.0 was just static text pages. Web 2.0 brought social media and user interaction. Web 3.0 was decentralization and blockchain. Web 4.0 brought mobile and the Internet of Things.
So where does 5.0 fit in?
Web 5.0 is the shift from websites being passive digital brochures to becoming intelligent active agents that can anticipate human needs and respond in a way that feels natural and, yes, emotionally intelligent.
Interesting.
But the foundation of that relies on making your business entirely understandable to machines first.
And the portfolio talks about using advanced structured data to do that, specifically something called schema markup. Let's bring this down to ground level. How does schema markup actually work?
Historically, search engine optimization SEO was just about stuffing keywords onto a page and hoping a search engine would blindly match those words to a user's search.
The old keyword stuffing days.
Right.
Yeah.
But modern AI search engines like Google's Search Generative Experience or tools like ChatGPT don't just look for words, they look for concepts. They want to understand the relationships between things.
Okay.
Schema markup is a type of hidden code you put on your website that directly translates your business data into a highly structured language these AI engines understand perfectly.
Can you give me a concrete example of that? What does an AI see with and without this markup?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's use MAQSER's inventory. Without schema markup, a Google crawler looks at a product page and sees the text Caterpillar 320. It doesn't inherently know if that's a new species of insect, a brand of work boots, or a piece of heavy machinery.
It just sees a word and a number.
Exactly. With schema markup, you are injecting hidden code that explicitly says, this entity is an industrial excavator. It is manufactured by Caterpillar.
Oh, I see.
The model year is 2023. It weighs 20 tons. It operates on diesel. And we currently have 3 in stock at this specific price.
You are essentially spoon-feeding the AI the exact context of your business.
Precisely. The source calls it entity architecture. You aren't just trying to rank for a keyword anymore. You are proving your authority on a specific topic directly to the machine.
You become a recognized entity in your industry.
Yes. When the AI understands exactly what you do, who your experts are, and what technical products you offer, it is vastly more likely to recommend you to a human buyer who asks a complex question.
But the AI integration detailed in the portfolio goes even further than just optimizing for search engines. It extensively details the deployment of generative AI chatbots.
This is where it gets really practical.
I have to be honest, though, as a consumer, my immediate reaction to the word chatbot is pure frustration.
Oh, we've all been there.
I picture those awful robotic bots from 5 years ago that just give you 3 useless multiple choice options, misunderstand your question, and then disconnect. Are we just automating bad customer service?
That is the crucial distinction. We aren't talking about those old decision tree bots. Those were incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
We are talking about high-performance generative AI virtual assistants.
Okay, how are they different?
The key differentiator here is that these new models are exhaustively trained on a company's proprietary knowledge base.
Yeah.
You don't just plug in ChatGPT and let it hallucinate answers.
So you control the data.
Completely. You feed the AI your company's specific PDF operating manuals, your highly technical FAQs, your past customer service transcripts, and your inventory databases.
So picture a scenario where a contractor is out on a job site at 3 a.m. on a Sunday. One of their MAQSER generators goes down, and they need to know the exact recalibration sequence for a specific valve. They can't wait until Monday morning to call a sales rep.
Exactly. They go to the website, open the chatbot, and type their problem in natural human language.
And the bot actually understands.
Yes. The AI, which has basically memorized every single technical specification of all 9,000 products, instantly pulls the exact recalibration sequence from page 400 of the PDF manual and provides the answer.
Wow.
It handles 247 technical support, it understands human intent, and it doesn't get tired.
That's amazing.
Furthermore, if the AI determines that this contractor is actually asking about upgrading to a newer generator, it can instantly route that qualified lead directly into the company's CRM system for the sales team to follow up on Monday morning.
That is incredible. It essentially multiplies your sales and support team without increasing your payroll. And it really synthesizes the core theme of this entire deep dive.
It really does.
By combining all these tools, using Python scripts to sync the ERP, implementing strict DNS protocols to ensure the emails actually arrive, using schema markup to talk to search engines, and deploying AI chatbots to handle the midnight support queries, companies are entirely removing the guesswork from their operations.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, they are responding to precise data and intent rather than just throwing marketing dollars at the wall to see what sticks.
Exactly.
And if we step back and look at the broader implications of Miguel Ferreira's technical work, we arrive at the ultimate takeaway. The goal of all this complex web engineering isn't to replace the human workforce.
It's to clear the runway so the humans can actually take off.
Exactly. When the technology is flawless, when it handles all the repetitive logistics, the agonizing data entry, the basic technical support queries, and the email deliverability, what is left?
The human relationship.
What is left is the human professional. And that professional can now focus their energy entirely on empathy, high-level strategy, complex problem-solving, and genuine human connection.
Those are the things that actually close complex B2B deals.
The machine handles the data, so the human can handle the relationship.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today. Let's do a quick recap of the journey we've been on.
Let's do it.
We started in the engine room, exploring how integrating an internal ERP system directly with a web platform scaled MAQSER's inventory to over 9,000 products effortlessly.
And we saw how Python scripts acted as digital janitors, normalizing data and ultimately boosting an individual salesperson's commercial performance by nearly 40%.
Then we moved to the trust protocol, uncovering how invisible email protocols like SPF, DKIM, and DMRC prevent your multi-million-dollar proposals from rotting in a client's spam folder.
And finally, we looked at Web 5.0, detailing how schema markup and proprietary AI chatbots act as the ultimate team multipliers, working around the clock to serve clients.
It really serves as a blueprint for any modern business that wants to scale aggressively without burning out its team in the process. So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
That's the important question.
I want you to take a hard look at your own daily workflows this week. What repetitive tasks are you doing manually right now? Are you copying and pasting data from one spreadsheet to another?
Are you answering the exact same basic questions via email every single day?
Ask yourself what a simple Python script, a basic software integration, or a smart AI tool could handle for you. What could you accomplish in your career if you got those 10 hours a week back?
This raises a fascinating philosophical question, and it's a thought I want to leave everyone with.
Let's hear it.
If automation, AI, and flawless system integrations eventually take over 100% of the logical data processing and logistical side of B2B transactions,
Okay.
will human imperfection, emotional unpredictability, and raw empathy become the only true premium commodities left in the future of business?
That's a great point.
When everything else is perfectly automated, your humanity might just be your biggest competitive advantage.
That is definitely something to mull over on your commute or your next toffee break. A huge thank you to you for joining us on this deep dive into the architecture of modern business and the power of automation.
Thanks for listening.
We hope you feel a little more well-informed, a lot more inspired to automate the boring stuff, and ready to reclaim your time. Stay curious, keep learning, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.